Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 235-member Michigan Marching Band. Band, take the field. Under the direction of Professor Jamie Elnitz, the N Fanfare. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 235-member Michigan Marching Band. Band, take the field. Under the direction of Professor Jamie Elnix, the N Fanfare.
All right. I better not. Let me turn this off. Hold on. I know that we're not in that kind of mood right now. Let me check my chat here. I saw that it was a pretty busy chat. Even as I treated you guys to that nice slideshow. Hey, I learned a new trick. I'm learning StreamYard and all the different things you can do with it, and you can do these slideshows. So I said, let me show folks these nice pictures of Jimmy and Bo and Lloyd and Josh Gaddis and Dr. Defense. So I hope you all enjoyed that. It's not a perfect system. I noticed when I was scrolling through, it briefly flashed my little avatar, but that's a new trick. I'm learning this thing as I go along. Hey everybody, welcome to Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this stream, please share it, and please subscribe to the channel. I see some familiar faces in the chat. Thank you for coming back. You all make this very, very worthwhile. I'm talking to you too, Abdul Gaines. You make this very, very worthwhile. You too, Alex. Alex has come to. Alex brings a lot of value to these live streams. I know at least one comment he's going to make when he comes up, which is that we are 15 years ahead of the rest of the Big Ten. So, you know, it just is what it is. But you guys want to see another picture? This is the mood of the chat. This is what Abdul Gaines is feeling right now. This one right here. Harbaugh, get him out. We're coming for Harbaugh. Harbaugh's head on the platter. This is how Abdul Gaines is feeling right now, as I'm sure the majority of you are all feeling right now. I'm a bit of a joker, so I like pictures and stuff like that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. You guys know the routine. I jotted some notes down on my notepad here from the game, and then we'll go over some of the stats, and then I'll open it up. I think Alex will probably come in and give his 2 cents, and then we'll kind of read what's going on in the chat. I think it's going to be pretty lively today. And the first thing I'll say is, well, we were barely ranked, and after today, we won't be anymore. So let's talk about today's game. This was the Wolverines' third game in this historic 8-game COVID-19 shortened season, and the Wolverines opened up with a sort of impressive win at Minnesota, though I think we're kind of seeing now that it might have been a little bit deceptive. Let me grab my football here for a little bit of good karma, and I also have my Jim Harbaugh bobblehead here. Who's got it better than us? This might be worth some money one day. So I'm gonna read over some of my points here. So it looks like Jalen Mayfield and Ryan Hayes were out for this game. I was on an important call before the game, and I was making a brunch, and I missed why they were out, but I don't think they played. If someone knows why they didn't play, please leave it right there in the chat. I'd be very grateful for that. Indiana struck first at 8 minutes and 57 seconds. Michigan tied the score off a Joe Milton touchdown pass to Cornelius Johnson just to tie it 7-7 at 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Now, I must have been eating my brunch or something like that because I didn't record. At some point, Indiana went up 14-7, and I missed that one. And I think one of the plays that set up that Cornelius Johnson touchdown pass was I think it was Jamar Johnson from Indiana. He was swinging off on one of our wide receivers, and he got ejected. So that advanced us up the field, and Joe threw a strike on that next play. Let's see. I have my notes here. For our defense, our defense certainly didn't help us out today. There were 3 offsides penalties in the first quarter. Lots of offsides calls throughout. At 8 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the first quarter, Jamon Green, I think, got a pass interference call. And there was a missed interception by Hawkins. There was a couple of those today where our defensive backs could have just, secured the ball, dropped to the ground, and got us another possession, but the ball went through their hands. So our defensive backs, they're young, but they're not skilled at intercepting the ball right now, because there were about 2 to 3 instances where they could have got the turnover on Indiana. At 6 minutes and 53 seconds, Indiana went up 17-7 off of a field goal. And then at 56 seconds left in that second quarter, Indiana went up 24-7 going into halftime. In the third quarter, Michigan scored a touchdown off of Roman Wilson's touchdown reception at 9 minutes and 1 second. I have here written in large letters a penalty on Vincent Gray at 7 minutes and 5 seconds. I believe that advanced Indiana further up the field to extend their lead 31-14 at 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Let's see. Our team was hoping to drive, and Joe looked at Ronnie Bell, and there was a little bit of contact on that play, and I think Ronnie's neck got snatched like this. And it was a potential pass interference call, but the refs decided that there was nothing there to call. So Joe overthrew Ronnie Bell at 3 minutes and 18 seconds. There was, at 2 minutes and 29 seconds in the third quarter, there was yet another pass interference call, which advanced Indiana further up the field. Let me turn the page here to my fourth quarter notes. In the fourth quarter, Michigan scored a touchdown to shorten the lead to 31-21 at 13 minutes and 43 seconds. That was a touchdown reception by Ronnie Bell. At 13 minutes and 35 seconds, there was yet a second missed interception by one of our defensive backs. Joe Milton threw an interception around 12 minutes and 30 seconds looking for Cornelius Johnson. Joe, on the replay, they showed the view right behind Joe, so you could see where Joe was looking, and he was looking at Cornelius Johnson, but he didn't see that Indiana defender, to his left. So that Indiana kid leaned in and just picked the ball off. Indiana went up 38-21 with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And then let's see, Joe took a nice hit around 5 minutes and 53 seconds. He didn't see that. I think it was a corner blitz. He didn't see that kid coming. Fortunately, it was called, I believe, a forward pass and not a fumble. And then Joe threw his last interception at 5 minutes and 7 seconds, with 5 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock. And then at that point, it was pretty much a wrap for us. So let's look at the official box score, as we always do, to get a feel for what exactly happened. I'm going to enable my screen share here. Keep in mind that immediately after the game, Google doesn't tally up all the defensive stats, but looking at the offensive stats tells us pretty much, it gives us a feel for what happened. So Indiana won the game 38-21. They won the first quarter 14-7. They won the second quarter 10-zip. Both teams scored a touchdown in the third quarter, and both teams scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter. And Indiana won the game 38-21. Let's first look at the Michigan stats. So Joe Milton went 18 for 34 for 344 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 very costly interceptions. When I looked at these stats, I think this is a very telling stat, which I'm going to read off to you guys right now. When I looked at this before this broadcast, what I noticed was we had absolutely no running game. So once again, what you have here is a running back by committee. You can look at all the carries here. No one really led in carrying the ball in terms of carries. But Hassan Haskins got most of the carries with 6 for 19 yards with an average of 3.2. Zach Charbonnet carried the ball once for 4 yards, so he ran for 4 yards total. Chris Evans carried the ball 3 times for 5 yards, 1.7 yards. And the rest of the backs got negative yardage. So clearly this will not get it done in the Big Ten. Ronnie Bell led our wide receiver core with 6 receptions for 149 yards for an average of 25 yards per reception. He scored 1 touchdown. Cornelius Johnson had a decent game with 4 receptions for 82 yards for an average of 20 yards per reception. He scored 1 touchdown. Zach Charbonnet hauled in 3 balls for 28 yards for 9 yards per reception. And then Chris Evans got 1 reception for 23 yards. Nick Eubanks got 1 reception for 22 yards. Blake Corum got 1 reception for 21 yards. Roman Wilson got 1 reception for 13 yards and a touchdown. And then Giles Jackson got 1 reception for 6 yards. So let's see, Nick Eubanks. So Eric All didn't get into the column here. Jim and the offensive staff are pretty high on Eric All, but I'm very surprised that Nick Eubanks only got 1 reception. This is one of our most senior receivers, and he's our most senior tight end. I would think he'd get a lot of balls thrown his way as he's a big target and he is a veteran. So it was in terms of yardage, in terms of production, our passing game carried the day. We didn't get anything from our running game that could probably be attributed to the offensive line. As I said, I think Jalen Mayfield and Ryan Hayes didn't play. I don't know why at this point. Let's take a look at Indiana stats to see how our defense was shredded this week. Michael Penix had a very good game. He went 30 for 50 for 342 yards. So I think that we know that Rocky Lombardi threw for 300 yards last week. So obviously Indiana looked at the tape to see what they could do. And our defense is very susceptible to at least competent passing attacks. In terms of the Hoosiers rushing, Stevie Scott carried the ball 24 times for 97 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns. Let's see, Samson James carried the ball 8 times for 25 yards. And let's look at their wide receiver core and tight ends. So this Ty Freifogel, never seen that name before. Caught the ball 7 times for 142 yards and an average of 20 yards per catch and 1 TD. Wap Filior caught the ball 11 times for 79 yards for an average of 7.2 yards per reception. Miles Marshall caught 3 for 36 yards. And then Jacoby Hewitt caught 1 for 32 yards. And then Peyton Hendershot caught 4 for 31 yards. And Stevie Scott caught 3 for 13 yards. And Samson James caught 1 for 9. So they were able to move the ball. Certainly this Michael Penix, he had a good game. I wouldn't put him up with Justin Fields yet, but this does not bode well for our defense when our team goes down to the shoe in December. As a matter of fact, that it's seeming like that game is going to be just a little bit bloody. Let's see. So let me stop my screen share here. Those are the stats from the game. I don't have all the defensive totals at this time. Where's my stop screen share? There it is. Okay, so I'm back. So that was the game. They won 38-21. I certainly had the give me a second here. Go back to my little bag of tricks. I certainly had the schedule wrong in the beginning. I can admit to that. I have no problems admitting to that. I picked the Wolverines to go 7-1. But right now they are 1-2. And we are trending downwards. So I don't know what to say other than that, other than, the season is not going, I think, the way I'm not going to belabor that. Let me go back to the comments here. I am going to start this early, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat if Alex wants to come up and say a few words. You're welcome to do that. Or if anyone else wants to come up into the show and say a few words, you're welcome to do so. If you're new here to this stream and this channel, please like this stream. Please share it. And please subscribe to my channel. I am driving towards 500 subs. And right now I'm at 436. I'm going to read some of the comments here. It's been a busy chat thus far. So let's see. Alex started off, I'm sorry. Abdul Gaines started off with fire Jim Harbaugh, of course. Thumbs up from Alex. Abdul Gaines wants to burn the whole thing down, says fire everybody. Alex agrees and says, yep. Abdul Gaines says Michigan is not a football first institution. Okay. Alex laughs, and I also laugh at a lot of things that Abdul Gaines says. By the way, Abdul Gaines is my unofficial show producer. Alex says, or a second. Abdul Gaines says they are an embarrassment to their fans. First of all, for anyone first coming into this is actually I'm a Michigan alum. So all these comments are not necessarily the opinion of the content creator. So if you're just peeking in here and you're seeing these comments, this is not me saying this. These are my commenters. So Abdul Gaines says they are an embarrassment to the Big Ten. Okay. Alex says, so I'm assuming they get a bye week because Wisconsin is a COVID dumpster fire. I think a bye week would be very, very helpful for us right now. And I think I think the team could use a bit of a timeout to kind of gather itself and just mentally think about what's happening thus far, because they're in a bit of a free fall right now. Abdul Gaines says they're an embarrassment to Power 5 football. Abdul Gaines is really piling on today. Alex is here. Leave Luke alone. I'm assuming that has something to do with Luke Fickell. Abdul Gaines says UB could be good right now. So UB, that's our home college of the University at Buffalo. Abdul Gaines, that's probably a bit much. What's going on, Alex? I'm going to go through a few more of these, and I'll give the mic to you. Raheem Gaines, Abdul Gaines' brother, says Luke would never sell out his alma mater for the hated Wolverines. Okay. Taylor Walston, I believe I've seen this name before, says, I lost some money betting on Michigan today. Oh, damn. I don't believe I can trust them either. Alex, I'm going to read one more, and I'll give the mic over to you. Abdul Gaines says Anwar doesn't need to wear Michigan gear for this live stream. Just wear regular clothes. What's going on, Alex?
How you doing, my brother?
That one.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Rough day for y'all, man. Rough day. If I drank, I would be drinking. I get it. It was rough. So I watched the game because I predicted 35-27 Michigan.
Oh boy.
I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's what I predicted the other day. And from the first drive, I was like, they might lose this game by 35. They came out flat. I felt like they came out flat. on the offensive side. I just felt like they really didn't get a groove going really until probably the middle of the second half for a couple of quarters. For about, it was about a 7-8 minute stretch. I was like, wow, like, okay, I can kind of see what they're trying to do on offense. I don't know how, and I think we had this conversation the week when I was talking about balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's about plays, it's about yardage. It's not just about, oh, well, we have 400 yards rushing and 500 yards passing. It's about how you're getting those yards, how many plays it takes to get those yards, at what point in the game, etc. But today you guys had 13 yards rushing. I know. Last week we talked about whether Jim should be there next year, and I said I don't know who you guys go out and get. I wouldn't even care at this point if I was you guys. They're not even playing inspired football at this point. There's no fire, no heart. I can kind of understand why, because I know they have a veteran group in some areas, like the wide receivers they're a veteran group. Offensive line, I didn't realize the offensive line was as young as it was. I thought they had some middle or upperclassmen, which I didn't realize they didn't. So that explains a lot. I'm going to point something out that's probably going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Go for it.
Joe Milton stinks. He sucks. He sucks. I'm going to tell you why I think he sucks.
Okay.
1 or 2 throws a game. For 3 quarters, there was no pass rush on Indiana's side. And he's missing wide open throws. Throwing like, you guys have a tight end. He was open all game. And he hit the guy so hard, it like went through his hand, sent him in the chest twice. And then he didn't throw the ball to him for the rest of the game. I don't know who the tight end is, but the dude was open. He was open multiple times, like in the first half. I want to say he threw it to him maybe 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
One, he completely missed him. The other 2 times, he just, we're talking about like a 7-yard hitch, and he's gunning it. Like Indiana's in zone, and he's just gunning it. Like I didn't understand that. And I felt like the passing game kind of opened up once Indiana's top DB got thrown out of the game. That was stupid on his part. I definitely feel like you guys dodged a bullet in regards to the safety forced fumble in the 4th quarter. That was a fumble.
It didn't look like his arm was going forward.
No, it was a fumble. His arm went forward because the safety hit him so damn hard. That's why his arm went forward. I mean, naturally, if you get hit and your arm's like this, it's going to go, your body is getting folded in half. Your arm naturally is going to go forward. So, there was that. And I think the main thing is that the reason why I say he's just not good is because he's not reading defenses. He's only going to the first read. So like those 2 touchdown passes that he threw, that was the first read, right? Those were the first reads. I mean, they were great catches though. Like they were good balls, good catches, but Indiana had no pass rush on him until the end, like middle to the end of the 4th quarter, where they were actually starting to get to him at that point. So I felt like, at least in the passing game, the O-line did their job. He just didn't do his job. I saw receivers open all over the place, and he's overthrowing them. He's underthrowing them. I mean, his passing is just so, like I said it the other week, he's not a natural passer. of the football. He's just not. I can see it. He's just not. He's not a natural passer. You know, you can get one in here, one in there. You can get a flash, but that doesn't mean that you're a natural passer of the football. And I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I feel like a lot like when you look at the stats of the game, stats again misleading. When you're down, you're throwing the football a lot, trying to catch up.
Right.
And when you have a they were up 30, 38 or 30. What were they up? They were up
31, 31, 21, 31.
No, they were up when they went up in the third quarter. Like when you have a lead like that,
Yep.
it's you can dink and dunk us all day long, but we're not going to let you score. So,
Okay.
I mean, I feel like like those are where those yards are coming from. It's very misleading. Your offense is not balanced, which means you have to throw more. You're behind, which means you have to throw even more because they're not letting you run the football. And I said this the other week, if I was any team, I'm throwing disguises and I'm not allowing Michigan to run the football because I think everybody knows that he can't throw. I think that's where you guys are. I mean, you guys are 3 games in. You got footage now. Like I'm on a micro level. So the guys, the great football minds in college that are breaking down his film, if I know he can't throw, I know they definitely know he can't throw.
So, Alex, are you suggesting that they're loading the box or they're intentionally taking the running game away to make Joe?
Absolutely. Now, I will say this: the secondary played better, but they can't play zone. I mean, you have Dax Hill and the other kid out there basically running across the field, making up for other people's mistakes. Like Dax Hill's amazing. He's like, that's what I came away from this game. That kid, I think he's a freshman or a sophomore. He's amazing. Like he is, man. I wish Ohio State had him and like I would love to have him as a safety. And they did play 2 high safety today, and those dudes, they were making up for so many mistakes that the DBs were doing. I know there was a one pass that one of the mistakes that he tried to cover up for was that I want to say it was in the second quarter, maybe the third, where the receiver was beat. He was beat, and the quarterback got hit on the arm as he let the ball go, so the ball came out short. And Dax is running across. He's on the left side of the field. He's coming back to the right side of the field. If he doesn't try to jump up and catch it, it's probably going to be an interception by the DB because the guy had like a step and a half on the DB. And because it came out short, it would have been a perfect interception. Dax comes across the field, reaches his hand out, and like tries to catch it, and it's just a little bit short. So it goes off his fingertips and goes over everybody's head, and it was an incomplete pass. But I mean that kid, man, he's amazing. He's just amazing. He's unbelievable. But yeah, that's kind of what I came away with. I know I am a proponent of like if you're beating everybody but 2 teams, you shouldn't lose your job. But when other teams are coming in and now they're beating you, and you can say, "Oh, well, was that home?" Listen, there are no home games this year. There are no home games. It's just, are you better than the team that's across from you? There are no home games. Everything essentially is like it's like an away game or like neutral site. There's no home field advantage for anybody in the Big Ten this year. So I don't want to hear any of that at all. You got a team. I don't know when the last time Indiana beat Michigan. I think it was like 20-something years. That's a bad sign.
It's a little while ago.
It's a bad sign. I think if I was Michigan, and I said this in the chat, like they're not going to play next week because Wisconsin's a dumpster fire of COVID right now. Like their season's over. Wisconsin season is over. Unfortunately, I mean it
Really?
sucks. Yeah, they got their game got canceled today because of COVID. They had 21 positive COVID tests. Their season is over. So the good news is you're not going to lose next week because I feel like if you would have played Wisconsin, you were definitely losing. And then I think I don't know who do you guys have after that?
Hold on a second.
Is it Penn State or is it Maryland? I know you got one of those two.
Rutgers.
That might be a win.
It might be.
That might be a win. That might be a win. I said going into the season, I thought Michigan was going to go 4-4.
Okay.
I thought pull the schedule up again. I thought they had I counted Michigan State, I counted Indiana, I counted Rutgers, and I counted Maryland as wins. And I think after Rutgers, I'm pretty sure you're going to lose the rest of those games.
Yeah, because you've been talking about Tua's brother quite a bit.
I don't know if they play today. I got to look at him today. I don't know if they already played, but I just saw him spin it against Minnesota, and I was highly impressed. Highly impressed. Just like I was impressed by the kid from Indiana. He's got nice touch on the ball. I have an affinity for left-handed quarterbacks. I don't know why. I just think that they're awesome, even though they suck at the pro level. But but his brother's right-handed and he can spin it. Like he can spin it and he can run. He can do both. But I think that's I think next 2 weeks from now, that's the game. Because if there's just no way Wisconsin's playing next week, unfortunately. So I think that I think it's a really good bet that
Go ahead. I'm going to read this.
I was reading that, but I need Abdul to understand something that.
Well, let me read it for the audience.
Yeah.
In year 6, to enter a game against a Hoosier team ranked higher than you is bad enough. To get beat by 17 points against them is a whole other level of trash. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing.
Okay, so there's a stat that's going around that Jim Harbaugh is like, I think he's like 0-9 or 0-10 against. He's 0-9 or 0-10 where he's an underdog. He's 2-12 against the AP top 10. He's never won a bowl game. He's never beaten Ohio State. I didn't know any of these things until like yesterday.
No. He beat Florida. That first year, that was in 2015. We beat Florida.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah. I know he won one. Unfortunately, it was just one.
It's some of the things that I've seen, and I mean, obviously, I'm not I'm just seeing it in real time, so I'm not fact checking.
Hey, man, we're in the era of the fact check.
I know. It trust me, like some of the things some of the stats that I've seen is scary to me. So, okay, Citrus Bowl.
Yep.
2015.
Yep. I mean, still, it's his only bowl win at Michigan, but he got one. I'm trying, Jimmy. I'm trying to help you, man.
And this is the thing, like we're not even talking elite. We're talking like, I mean, this season might be an outlier. It's 2020. So it might be an outlier. If you lose to Rutgers, it's over. It's over if you lose to Rutgers. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that one would hurt. I mean, more than these other ones.
I don't think that I got to see how Rutgers plays tonight. I gotta watch them against OSU. But
well, they did beat Michigan State.
Yeah, but Michigan State also, they didn't beat Michigan State. Michigan State lost that game.
Okay, they beat themselves.
Yeah, they beat themselves. But I just don't feel like they have any fight in them. And as I was watching it kind of unfold, I'm just like, man, that dude has no voice. Like, I feel like I think that when you're
who are you talking to? Who are you talking about having no voice? Jim or
yeah,
Joe?
Jim. Listen, it might be all the coaches, but there's just there's no fight, right? There's just no fight, man. Like that's all I got. There's just no fight in that team at all.
All right, Alex, let's go. Go ahead.
It's just when you have that, it's just really bothersome. You got a team that's getting their teeth kicked in, and I just don't feel. And it might be the fact that they know that quarterback is just not good, right? I think that could be part of it. That we know, like they know, like this dude's he's not going to get us there. So, like we're just going to try to do whatever we can do and make it work that way. I don't know if that's the case. I'm obviously like hypothetical, like I don't know, but they know the quarterback a lot better than I do. I didn't know this. I didn't know that you guys are 3 games in and Ronnie Bell only has 1 touchdown. That's insane. That's insane. Like he's a second day pick.
Oh, Ronnie Bell?
Yeah, he's a day 2 pick. So, or like he's either a day 2 or day 3 pick. Easy. Like second or third round. That dude can ball. He can ball. I mean, I recognize he can ball. And I didn't know Eubanks was still there.
I'm surprised Eubanks isn't catching more balls, or he's not being targeted more.
But
I mean, ideally, he's a big kid. You have a young quarterback. That'd be the guy you want to fall back on.
Watching what I watched today,
yeah,
I'm not surprised at all.
Do you think Joe's not looking at him, or
Joe is a one-read quarterback, and if that read's not open, he doesn't know. Watching what I watched, he doesn't know how to come off of that read and deliver the ball accurately to the second or third receiver. That's what I see.
Okay.
I saw balls wide. I saw balls high. I saw balls in the dirt. I saw balls thrown too hard. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even Michael Vick, who had the cannon of all cannons, learn even in like college, he could, not throw 99. He could drop it down to like 70. But this
threw a nice ball.
Huh, Mike?
He threw a nice ball.
Yeah, he did. But I don't really see the accuracy. I haven't seen the accuracy over, and I've watched 3 games now. I see a couple really good balls, but the majority of the other balls, it's either the receivers or not where they're supposed to be, or it's him. And they have a veteran receiver group, which is why I'm saying it's him. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Are they really? Thank you, Taylor.
Now, this was at, I'm going to go through a couple comments here. This was at 428. Maryland is effing up Penn State. I'm not going to.
Maryland's good. I tried to tell you, man, Maryland is no joke. They're no joke.
It's not the points. They were never in the game. Abdul Gain says, hold a spot for me. I may have to take y'all from that off. I think that refers to coming over to the Ohio State fan base.
Listen, man, any fan base is better than this. It doesn't matter. You go to Maryland right now. They're winning. Leave Luke Fickell alone.
Luke Fickell would love to go up against Ohio State with equal resources.
No. Luke is fine. Luke is happy. Luke is happy. Like, why you want to mess with that man's happiness? You want him to be miserable.
You're right, Alex. That was basically 3 hours of watching a Hoosier team with a better QB. I personally think we should just talk about Juwan Howard and the basketball program. Oh, you guys want to roll. Maryland is up 14-0 on Penn State. It looks like Penn State may be in an easy win for us. Uh-oh.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that. You know,
I don't know why you're wearing Michigan gear, Dr. Dunbar. Abdul Gaines, I went to Michigan, so I'm going to have this loyalty regardless. Always welcome. Great job with the slides. Love the slideshow. Leave Luke alone. A lot of our fans have their fingers crossed for Luke Fickell as a Christmas gift.
It's not happening. I'm telling you guys, it's not happening.
Is that a live look at Ann Arbor? No, that was a still shot. I'm just here for the broken-hearted comedy. Okay. Well, we got something right here. Alex, is you. That's going to be a collector's item. That's my gym. Bobblehead. Yeah. I have a bow bobblehead in my cube at work, but we're not going into work. So, Bucks by 1 million. Buckeye fan. Abdul Gaines predicts 77-13 Ohio State beats Michigan. I'm calling it now. Rick says, do you think Jimmy will be coaching the Jets with Justin Fields next year? Huh, okay.
Why would you wish that upon such a nice kid like Justin Fields? Justin Fields is a nice guy. He's a vegan. Like, why would you wish that upon him?
You said he's a what?
He's vegan.
Oh, okay.
He's got vegan powers.
I didn't know that. Wolf 58 says, agree, Joe Milton is nothing special. JB McCollum, Dylan McCaffrey wouldn't have been any better. Got hurt too much. Okay, so we have someone in the Joe Milton camp here. Jim Harbaugh had failed to bring and produce a quarterback. We've talked about that a lot on this channel. Maryland is up 28-7 over Penn State. That was at 5:04. It's now 5:14.
Thank you for that, Taylor.
Michigan, Anthony Williams. Uh-oh. Michigan is trash. We got to do a little Buckeye alert here. The Buckeyes are in.
If you notice, I have not brought them up.
Hey man, you're part of their nation. So Jimmy should just head out to the NFL. You know what's interesting? If he's such a bad coach, wouldn't the NFL see that as well? And
no, so obviously
he's a bad college coach.
I think Jim Harbaugh reminds me of what's that guy's name? The coach of the Raiders.
Go ahead. Oh, Gruden.
He reminds me of Gruden because Gruden's not a developer of talent, but he can take really good talent and coach them up. Like in Tampa Bay, obviously with the Raiders the first time, and now with the Raiders the second time. He can coach players up, but he's not I don't think he's a long-term solution. NFL coaches only last about 4 or 5 years and then they move on.
Right.
They got a really short shelf life. So, there's an opening. There will be an opening in Texas, so he might be able to go to Texas. Because I know they're getting ready to get rid of Tom Herman. He's out of there. I'm pretty sure he's out of there. Okay. Like he's losing recruits and all types of stuff, so he's out of there. But I'm not really sure where the program goes from here.
Well, Tommy Tuberville just got elected to Senate, so maybe Jim could run for politics too.
Sure, why not? He's already blue. And your state's already blue. Why not?
Rick says, give Indiana some credit. This is the best Indiana team I've seen. I've been watching Big Ten football for 50 years. I don't know.
I forgot about that Randall L team. That Randall L team was really good.
The Randall L team was good. And in 2015, Jim's first year, they escaped Bloomington with that win. I mean, they were running the ball all over us.
Yeah, they had a kid. They had a left-handed
Gordon Howard.
Yeah, they had a left-handed kid who could sling it too. They were really good. They like I've said, like Indiana's ascending. They've been building that program for like they've been really building that program even when Kevin Wilson was there. They were competitive. So and Kevin Wilson's a brilliant offensive mind, so and I'm not just saying that just because he's the assistant at Ohio State. Like he was incredible while he was at Indiana. But yeah, they're ascending. You know, like I said, they've been building that program.
Okay. Michael Penix threw multiple dropped interceptions. I didn't see him outplay Joe. He was far from the problem at all. Okay, let me read that again. I didn't see him outplay Joe at all. He was far from the problem. Okay, so two things. Our defensive backs did drop about 2 to 3 interceptions. Two. Okay, so
the one Dax Hill, he wouldn't have. The one, so yeah, the one was Dax Hill came across the field, and tried to catch it, ended up tipping it. He mistimed it, whatever. And a lot of them were, you got like the defensive line actually really Michigan's defensive line played really well. 18, I don't know who 18 is, but he was getting pressure pretty much all day. But when he wasn't getting pressure, it was pitch and catch. So like, what I saw was when Michigan went zone is when that dude started carving up the defense. He was dropping. So if you're running like a cover 2, right? You got corner, linebacker, corner, safety. And he's dropping it. There's a pocket in the left side of the field. It's probably like maybe 15, 20 yards downfield, right on the sideline. So it's over the corner before the safety. And dude was just dropping the ball in there all day. Every time you guys ran zone, those guys, it was like after a play or two, they figured out what you guys were doing. They changed their scheme. They ran a couple posts, and then they had one guy sit down in the middle of the zone. And it was, it wasn't. I just don't think their strength is playing zone, and I don't think that their strength is playing man either. So I don't know what Michigan's DBs are supposed to do, because Dax Hill can't. It's not his job to cover up every mistake that the defense makes. He's only one person. So, I think he's a freshman or a sophomore. So depending on that one person like that's so young, that's asking a lot of a young kid to do. Because if he doesn't do that, you guys are, he was making up the mistakes, and they still scored 35, 38 points.
Yeah, clearly our corners. I don't know if it's a function of them being young, but they're getting abused, and they're racking up the penalties. Everyone, I just dropped the StreamYard link into the chat. If anyone wants to come up and verbally talk with me and Alex, you're welcome to do that. If you want to make a donation to the channel, I have my Cash App there as well. If you're new coming to the stream, please like the channel. I'm sitting at 437. I'm trying to get to 500. Likes are free. Subscriptions are free, and I would very much appreciate that. Another comment here from Rick again that says, remember that Bo was a Woody assistant. Moeller was a captain at Ohio. Yo, I need to get a picture of Luke Fickell and make him the wallpaper in the back. I might do that.
And I'm going to respond.
Is the best available young coach.
Rick, explain something to me. I need to know. I need to know if you are a CEO at a Fortune 500 company, why would you leave a Fortune 500 company that's doing well? You're doing well in your position. Why would you leave to go to your company's rival who's descending? And if you say money's not going to be enough, because the loyalty with Ohio, and I get Bo's the outlier, right? That happened once. Bo's the outlier. It's never happened since then. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But why would you leave? Why would Luke Fickell leave his situation to go to a Michigan team who just has no heart? I'm just gonna call it. They have no heart. They have no heart, and they're not being developed. So, like, why would I want to put that amount of stress on myself if I'm doing well in Cincinnati? I'm still in Ohio. He's an Ohio guy. His family's in Ohio. Like, why would I do that to myself? I'm already winning. If winning is the key, I'm already winning. Why would I do that? Rick, I need you to answer that question. If you were him, why would you do that?
Well, Alex, I mean, isn't that arguably that's leadership, right? A coach can instill his own culture. So in theory, you know, if he any school he went to, he's the CEO. He would be the guy to instill that culture, right? So, you know what? Hey man, since I know how to do the slideshow, we're gonna instill a Luke Fickell alert. Every time a comment comes up, we're gonna flash that picture. Yo, he's popular here. Luke Fickell's popular here. I thought it was PJ Fleck, but Luke is more popular than PJ Fleck.
You know, I blame myself for that because I know I pointed out that he had Cincinnati at like number 6. So that might be my fault. That might be my fault. But leave Luke alone, man. Like, he's fine there. He's good. Like, he's living the life he wants to live. He's getting the kids he wants to get. He's getting to develop great young men. You know, he's building Cincinnati to be a national program, not just a regional program. So he's doing great. I know as a Michigan fan, you probably want people from Ohio State to suffer. I understand that. But yeah, I like to see people win, and he's winning. So please leave him alone.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Adam Sandler.
Definitely. There's definitely some Waterboy there and some Happy Gilmore.
So Ben Hester says the point wasn't to discredit Penix. He was good, but people are talking like Joe was trash when we ran for 2 yards a carry and couldn't protect. So I'm going to say if there was one, Alex, let me go first.
Go ahead.
So if there's one, well, 2 things Joe did bad. It was the INTs. So Penix didn't turn the ball over. Joe did twice. Go ahead.
How many yards did you throw for today? How many attempts? I don't have it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Hold on, I have it right here.
Okay.
Which one you want, Penix or Joe?
Joe. I don't care about the other kid. He won.
Yeah. Joe went 18
he's
for
not the top
34.
of the conversation.
Yeah, Joe went 18 for 34. 18 of 34.
That's worse than I thought. So 18 of 34. So that puts him at 53%.
Ballpark.
53%. And he had all day to throw the football today, except for the last 6 minutes of the game. There was no pass rush from Indiana's side at all. No pass rush. So what's the problem? I'm not saying he's the worst quarterback in the world, because there are obviously worse quarterbacks. What I'm saying is that he had plenty of time to throw the football and just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. Not enough to win the game. I counted on 4 separate occasions, he had 7 seconds in the pocket to throw the football and couldn't do it. 7 seconds. They had no pass rush. None. I mean, the defense showed up for Indiana in the fourth quarter to put the game away. That's what defense is supposed to do. Fine. But we're just looking at 2 different games. We're watching 2 different games. We have to be.
Well, everyone sees something different.
Yeah, I just look at the amount of time, because you say he goes 18-34. All right, they were behind the whole game. Okay, so at least they didn't throw it 52 times, which is an improvement, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of those were 3 and outs. And Indiana had 90-yard drives, 75-yard drives. I mean, I'm sure the time of possession was probably highly in favor of Indiana. I know they had the football a lot more than Michigan did. Anytime you have a drive that's 90-plus yards, like 90 and 75, and I think one was like 80 yards or 82 yards.
Indiana had the ball for a total of 38 minutes and 50 seconds, and Michigan had the ball for 21 minutes and 10 seconds. So they doubled it.
Yeah. So Cincinnati is in the minor leagues. Harbaugh has recruited well. Luke is a tough guy. He will develop these guys. Luke had Michigan State job first and turned it down. Are you even focusing on why he turned the Michigan State job down?
Why did he?
He doesn't want to coach in Michigan. He doesn't want to be in Michigan.
Okay. So he's just averse to being in the state. How about that?
And it's not about the money. Like when you love what you do, the money doesn't really matter. If you're in a good place, your family's happy, your wife's happy, your kids are happy, you're happy, you're making good money, why uproot all of that? Why do it? Why put yourself through that? Like, I just don't feel like the juice is worth the squeeze.
Mm-hmm. Also, Alabama saw the need to get Indiana strength and conditioning coach, so something is there.
Thank you, Taylor. It's good to know. Good info. I didn't know that.
I can't believe Georgia fans thought they had a chance today. I don't know who Georgia played.
Oh, this is the biggest cocktail party in the world, man. They played Florida at I don't know what they call it now. When I first moved here, it was Everbank Field, but they changed the name like 3 times. I can actually see the stadium from my house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's across the river, but yeah, they play Florida.
So you're in Gainesville?
No, they play in Jacksonville every year.
Jacksonville.
Because
okay.
Jacksonville is on 35 miles from the Georgia line.
Okay.
Yeah. So they play at the Jag Stadium every year.
Okay.
Every year they play there.
I took them on points. I should have did the money line.
What was the money line, Taylor? I think weren't they -3?
I don't know.
I think you said they were -3 the other day.
Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan was -3. I thought he was talking about Georgia.
Yeah, so Harbaugh is 0-10 when he's an underdog. That says a lot too. That says a lot.
All right. So I see viewers coming in and out. if this is not a rah, everything's gonna be fine thing, then I apologize for that. But I like to do things objectively, and our team is struggling now.
And let's not lie, because everything's not going to be fine. Let's not lie. Everything is not going to be fine.
Taylor, it's time to bench Joe. He didn't even know the name of the middle linebacker for Michigan State. There's a reason that Urban Meyer didn't recruit him, even though he was a 4-star recruit. How do you know he didn't know the name of the middle linebacker? Maybe there was a postgame Q&A that I didn't see.
And there's something I kind of want to point out to
Go for it.
S702. 702 is what, Vegas?
That's Vegas.
Vegas? Okay. There's this kid that Urban recruited. It's 2 of them. Well, actually 3. One of them was like the #1 dual threat quarterback who shall remain nameless because I don't know where he is right now. He might be in this room and we would never know because I don't even know if he's in college right now. But he was the #1 dual threat quarterback. I'll say his name, Tate Martell. I'm sure everybody.
Oh, Tate. Yeah. He got on a documentary with the kid from Georgia. Yeah, go ahead.
So, why would you recruit Joe Milton if you have the #1 dual threat quarterback in the country? I mean, you also had, I don't know, this guy named Dwayne Haskins. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows who that guy is. Oh, yeah, and you had Joe Burrow. Oh, man, forgot about that too. Yeah, what are we really talking about here? Joe was a highly, he was a very good high school player, but, you got 2 Ohio guys that can sling it. It's kind of a no-brainer, and then you got the #1 dual threat quarterback. I don't know why you can only take so many quarterbacks in a class. So, when you take 2, obviously one transfers. You guys have already seen that because McCaffrey transferred, right? So, it's those are tough things to call. So,
Florida was +3.
Okay, I don't even know what the score of the game is. So Florida hasn't beaten Georgia in probably like 4 or 5 years. So that's good for Florida. Don't really care about them, but good for them.
Pass rush was definitely a concern. We had 2 new starting tackles this game, add multiple drops into that completion percentage.
There were a lot of drops. There
were a lot of
drops, but the drops, I felt like the drops was because he was throwing the ball so damn hard.
You think that's what it was?
I thought that's what it was. I know the tight end dropped 2 passes because I just felt like, when you're 7 yards away and the ball goes through your hands and hits you on the chest, you're throwing the ball too hard.
Give me 1 second here. Mayfield, the second. Here, I'll just share it with the audience. Hold on.
Yeah, Indiana had no pass rush until the 4th quarter, so it's kind of a moot point.
Mayfield, the second-year starter at right tackle, and Hayes, the left tackle, did not travel due to injury, according to a Michigan spokesman. Both suffered undisclosed injuries in last Saturday's loss to Michigan State. Mayfield had X-rays after he left the game, and those were negative. Michigan coach Harbaugh said, "Okay, so they were injured. Wasn't COVID." Well, they definitely missed them.
Did they? I don't think they missed them.
There
was no pass rush.
Well, how about for the run game?
That's the guard and the center's job.
Okay. Joe said he never heard of that linebacker.
So you don't need to know the linebacker's name. You just need to know his number and where he's usually at.
Joe was not a big-time recruit. Luke didn't take the Spartan job because it got leaked after he accepted, but then it wasn't approved by some group, and they said he had to interview again, and he said, freak you.
It's not what I heard, but I roll with you, Rick.
Okay.
I mean, he had the job. He had the job if he wanted it, and he turned it down.
So,
oh, man, they're up 38-21 at halftime. Holy crap.
Yeah, let's take a look at the other scores in the Big Ten. I know Michigan State was getting beat earlier.
They were getting the teeth kicked in by Iowa. Whatever happened to Iowa?
Is Kirk Ferentz still coaching?
I think so. But wait, I forgot. Iowa's going through. They got a lot going on. I forgot. Iowa has a lot going on right now, so I'm not even going to talk about their program.
Let's see. So, Northwestern is leading Nebraska.
Right.
Wow, Michigan State got beat 49-7.
Yeah, I told you they were getting
Iowa.
Iowa. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
We got beat 38-21. Illinois, Minnesota's beating Illinois 28-7.
A little payback.
Maryland's beating Penn State 35-7.
Penn State's done, man. They got players that opted out. They don't have no running backs. I feel bad for them.
We'll just take a quick look across the nation here. Let's see. Today, let's see. Liberty beat Virginia Tech. SMU beat Temple. USC beat Arizona State.
I have a question when you're done.
Okay. Texas beat West Virginia. Marshall beat UMass. Speaking of Luke Fickell, Cincinnati's beating Houston. At halftime, Florida's up on Georgia 38-21. And at halftime, Kansas State is up on Oklahoma State 12-0. Go for it.
Where do you guys go from here?
Well, I mean, obviously,
where does Michigan football go? Because I am. Let's just hypothetically say that Luke Fickell's out, right? I'm assuming he's out. I'm his agent. I'm speaking for him. Luke Fickell's out. Where do you go? What do you do? Do you keep Jim? You have Jim for another, bring in another top 10 recruiting class and doesn't do anything with him? Like, what do you do?
Well, I think with this season, I think Ward Manuel lets him finish out his contract. His contract is up at the end of next year. I say you ride with him for one more year. I mean, I know folks aren't going to like it. Some folks aren't going to like it. But who else can you get at this time? I mean, you've asked that question yourself.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know I don't have all the answers either. So,
all right.
I mean, I'm curious. I thought about something as we were having some conversations earlier.
What's that?
So you got Luke Fickell on my brain. Get Luke Fickell on my brain.
See, got to bring him back.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We have a Luke Fickell alert on this channel now. He's a celebrity.
We're not
doing it.
About. This is why I think this is a big difference. This is the difference between programs at Michigan's level and programs that are we'll just say the elite programs.
Okay.
When you have top 10 recruiting classes every year, when you are when you are bringing in, recruits at that level. And you have players leave. Players leave all the time, right? They leave, graduate, whatever. Players leave, players come in, yada, yada, yada. But when it's time for them to play, there should be development on the Michigan side to have those guys ready to play. And so we're just gonna run through something really quick. And I want to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. When was the revenge tour?
That was 2018.
Okay. So let's go 2018 to this year, right? That's 3 years. Okay. Ooh, that was a bad year for them. Maybe I was wrong. All right, so 2018, that was a bad year. They were number 20.
For who?
22. And I'm looking at recruiting classes. So they had a 22nd ranked recruiting class.
Michigan.
In 2018. 2019, I know they were in the top 10. They were number 8. 2019, I believe last year they were number 9. I'm sorry, the 2021 class, they were number 9. That class, they were number 14. So the other programs that recruit on their level, and I'm going to throw some names out, you're going to be shocked. North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Auburn, Texas A&M, better known as &U, LSU, Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia. What I'm getting at is those programs that I named outside of Tennessee, who's just trash, those other programs are primarily top 25 programs, right? They bring kids in, they develop them, get them in the machine, get them working, get them developed, etc., get them coached up, ready to play. You should not be losing to any of the teams behind you. If you're going to base it, because a lot of people I've seen in the chat throw out the recruiting argument and development. So like I'm kind of piggybacking off of that. So the teams that are behind you, Washington, Notre Dame, the U, South Carolina, Nebraska, Florida State, dumpster fire, Arizona State, TCU, Kentucky, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is beating the brakes off you guys every year, and they're in the 20s. They're like when I say 20s, like 25 to like 30 every year. Georgia Tech, Mississippi State. If any of those teams play Michigan right now, they're going to beat them. They are less talented. The basement of talent is lower for those teams than it is for Michigan. And if they play Michigan right now, they're going to beat you. That's why I asked where do you go from here? Because blaming Jim Harbaugh because he's the CEO, I don't know if he's the problem. I don't know who they have in that program to develop these kids. I don't know who does that. So for anybody that knows, Jim Harbaugh is just the head coach. Typically the position coaches are the ones that develop the positions that they're coaching for. So whether it be offensive line, running backs, secondary, wide receiver, quarterback coach. Like those are the guys that are supposed to focus on development and scheme of what the offense and defense is trying to do. So there's obviously a disconnect because they're not developing the guys, or maybe they are developing the guys. They're not a part of the offensive defensive scheme. But like something's off there, and Jim's getting the blame of it. He's getting the blunt of it because he's someone who's supposed to be the overseer of that program. So I understand that. But I feel like getting rid of Jim, like if you got rid of Jim and kept everybody else, I feel like you still have the same problem.
Well, let me interject this. One of my most loyal subscribers, Gary, pointed out that.
Yes, Rick, I do.
Huh?
Rick asked if we think James Franklin will survive this season. He has a bunch of injuries, and probably the best linebacker in the country opted out. So yes, he'll survive this year.
Okay. Well, one of the things Gary pointed out was that Jay Harbaugh is our running backs coach.
What?
And I believe Jay Harbaugh, is our running backs coach. He's over running backs and special teams. And that is a bit of a head scratcher. That video was a pre-record, and we started off with Ty Wheatley as our running backs coach. And
right. I thought he was still the running back coach, but okay.
He's at Morgan State. So we lost Ty Wheatley, and Jim's son is now in charge of the running backs. Now, which to me is a bit of a head scratcher because you want someone like Ty Wheatley over that position group.
Is he a head coach at Morgan State, or is he just a coach?
He's the head coach.
He's just a coach?
He's the head coach.
Oh, that's different. You got to take the opportunity. That's fine. You take the opportunity.
Okay.
Take the opportunity to build your resume. That's understandable.
Still, I know Jay was in the NFL a little bit with John Harbaugh in Baltimore, and so he's done the NFL thing. But I think, you want, and I couldn't find anything on Jay actually playing, but I think you want a former running back coaching that position, right? Someone
I would say
who's done it.
I would say this. I don't think that matters as long as the product on the field, as long as they're developing kids and the product on the field is good. I don't think that matters. I mean, obviously you would think like, blah, 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 but you have NBA coaches that are awesome coaches that have never played basketball at that level. So I feel like that's a little bit overrated.
Still, coaching basketball or football, they're two different sports.
True. But we're talking about experience at the position or just experience playing the game, which in either one of those scenarios, which is the common denominator, that neither one of those people in those scenarios have one.
Yeah.
But there are people that, I guess I'm saying there are people that can still do it on a high level. Like for instance, if I coach wide receivers and I turn around and I play wide receiver, never play running back, but I end up as a running backs coach and I'm really good at my job. I don't think it's based upon the fact that I don't think being a good running back coach should be based upon the fact of whether or not you actually play the position or not. It's just, do you understand how to develop talent? Like that's what it's based upon. Can you recruit and can you develop talent? Okay, if you can do both of those things, your past really doesn't matter. I
would agree with that. I would agree. If you're coming into the stream, please click the like. Please subscribe. I'm at 437. I'd like to get as close to 500 as possible. We have another comment here from Rick. It says Tom Allen would also be a good choice, and one less Big Ten loss every year.
Who's he coach for? Who's Tom Allen?
Let me do a quick search.
He's probably Purdue's coach. I would bet he's Purdue's coach. I hate Purdue.
Why do you hate Purdue?
Because every time I feel like we have a really good season, we overlook Purdue, and they smoke us. We just overlook them. We don't show up to play. We think it's going to be a cupcake, and then we get blown. We get our doors blown off.
He's the Indiana coach, so we just lost him today.
Oh, nah. He's not leaving that program. Nah. I don't see that. I don't see that either. Like when you have it, when you're at that level and it's going good, it's gonna take a lot if you're in a good situation, because I'm sure you know this, career wise, like when you're in a good situation career wise, like, and you have a job that comes up that's going to offer you more money, sometimes it's not the best thing. It's not the best job to take because you're just in a good situation at your current position. And I kind of feel like that way about a lot of coaches that are ascending. I can't see them leaving a program, going to another program in the same division. That makes no sense. Like if I'm doing, if your program's going down, my program's going up, I'm doing more with my program than you are, why would I leave to go to your program? Why would I do that?
Yeah. And also I think coaches, they probably know, a program like Michigan, there's some pressure involved, and there's some other pieces involved, and
not now. There's not, because you guys stink.
No pressure.
No, if I'm a new coach coming in, I'm like, yo, I need 8 years minimum, because it's not like with Brady Hoke, where like they were winning, 9, 10 like 8, 9, sometimes 10 games. Like you guys are going like this, right? You're not even here. You're here. And I have to turn it up like this and go this way. So like there's a lot more work. Like when Jim came in, Jim's job was to take it from a good program to an elite program, right? I don't even know if they're a good program right now. So there's like a whole nother tier I have to even get to get to elite. I have to get it back to just a good program. So I don't know why I would take that job. Why would I do that?
Yeah. So I want to thank everyone who's hanging out in the chat and commenting. Ben says, tackles absolutely have an impact on the run game in power and zone schemes. That's football 101. The poor run game led to those long second and third downs, which have a low success rate with any QB.
I mean, yeah, they're involved, but you primarily your run game. So your run game, it depends on what they want. It depends on what they want to do on the offensive side of the ball too, right? So if they're running the ball to set up the pass, or are they passing the ball to set up the run? So I prefer run the football to set up the pass, because if you're doing that, you're getting the offensive tackles, you're getting them that contact to get ready for the pass. But maybe that's something they just need to work on. Maybe they need to work on pass blocking. Maybe they need to go 12 personnel more often.
You said which personnel?
12.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see that a lot. I saw it here and there throughout the game. But maybe you just go 12-man personnel to help out that running game, because they, at least from what I saw, they didn't have an issue blocking in the pass game. They actually did really well, even though they were young. They did really well up until the end of the game. Like the entire offensive line did really well in pass blocking. Like Joe had all day to throw back there. He had all day. Like if you go back and watch the game and you just focus on that, you'll see what I'm talking about. Even though I wouldn't want to put you through that.
Okay. Now, when you say 12 personnel, you're referring to
2 tight ends.
2 tight ends. Okay. S702 says,
or an extra tight end, like, so an extra tight end and maybe an extra tight end and extra blocker. Could be offensive lineman, whatever. Like just an extra body in there to help you block. So you can run 12 men. You can have your 5 linemen, extra tight end, and run 3 wide receivers, running back, and I feel like did Joe run the football at all today?
I think he tried to run a couple of times.
Okay. Maybe I missed it, because I didn't see. I think I saw one play where he tried to run, but I feel like that was another thing that was missed, where if he's not a threat running the football, the whole RPO thing kind of goes out the window. Because I know he can run, right? He's supposed to be athletic. He's supposed to be able to run.
Joe ran 5 times for -9 yards.
Okay, so those are sacks. Those aren't runs.
Okay.
Those are sacks. Yeah, that's different.
Okay.
Ouch. Yeah, I mean he's got to run the football. I mean I thought. I mean I don't. You know your program better than I do. I just know what I see on TV. But I thought he was a dual threat where he could throw the football and run. So if they're packing the inside, bounce it out. Now I did see one thing too, which really disturbed me with Josh Gaddis. That's the offensive coordinator's name, right?
Yep. What you see?
They did not run the football on the edge enough. I felt like there was room on the edge. They did it a couple times and then they stopped. I felt like there was an opportunity to get some yards on the edge. Just observation because they weren't, between the tackles was just not happening. I mean, those linebackers were coming downhill fast. They're coming downhill really fast. But I felt like there was definitely opportunity on the as I was watching the game, I was like 2-3 plays on the edge, like he's getting, he's getting 3-4 yards. Like go back to that, and they never went back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one thing I did want to point out too. I know you're going through the game earlier. When I say, and I'm going to give an example of what I mean when I say Michigan they didn't have any fight. So I think the game was 31-17.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a holding penalty. No, there was an offensive pass interference penalty. They were first and 24. Indiana was. They were first and 24. They were backed up on their, 15-yard line. First play is a draw, 12 yards. If you have a team backed up deep in their own territory, you can't give up 12 yards, a run for 12 yards on the first play, on the first down. You can't do that. You can't do that. It went from that. They were 3rd and 7. Indiana didn't get the first down. But the mere fact that they got a penalty made up for half of the yardage in one running play, that was a draw. No fight, man. No fight. They don't have any fight at all.
S702 says, except for Oklahoma, the teams of the 80s and 90s are not what they used to be. Michigan, Miami, Nebraska, and Florida State. They will have their day again. Nick will retire day to the NFL.
You wish. Ryan Day's not going to the NFL. Stop it. You that's wishful thinking. Here's the thing. If he goes to the NFL, it's not going to change the outcome. Because we're going to bring in somebody who's going to do something just as good as he does. And if I'm Ryan Day, I think he's from Massachusetts or something like that. I think he's from or Connecticut, somewhere up there. If I get the best coaches, the best players, I'm in a city that I can live and retire, because that's one of the sells on Columbus is that, Columbus it's the state capital, right? So even if you don't go to the NFL, you can just live here. It's a place you can, build a family.
Plant your roots.
Yeah. Why would I leave a job that I love, that I'm very good at, security, to go to the NFL, to bounce my family around, and be out of a job in 4 to 5 years? again, like it's situations, man. Like it's not about money. It's about situations. Like when you're at the level Ryan Day is at, and Nick Saban and those guys, and Lincoln Riley, like it's about situations. Like it has to make sense. And money, I mean, you don't think Ryan Day is going to have a ridiculous extension when it comes up? I mean, he's going to be making more. He's going to be like the third highest paid coach in college football.
Well, also Saban tried the NFL and he came right back to college, so it's a different animal.
Yeah,
they're two different things. And actually, Jimmy might be more well suited for the NFL. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know you have to know you, and you have to know your strengths and weaknesses and know your niche, right? So, the first Saban, he went to Miami. I'm going to say that Nick Saban probably would still be in the NFL if they would have took Drew Brees instead of Dante Culpepper. Like that was a big oops on their part. But yeah, I mean, that happens, and like we said before, the NFL coaching tenure is not very long. I mean, I feel like that's a job for people who are older, who have kids that are older. You know, when you're young and you're young, got a young wife, you don't want to be moving your family around all like that. I mean, you might be the guy who's built for that, but Ryan Day is not that dude. He's clearly said that. His family's here. His family loves the city. He's in a great situation. Why would you want to uproot your family if everybody's happy? Just for, a couple extra dollars. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, he'll make more at Ohio State coaching for the next 7 years than he'll probably make in the NFL.
Okay.
So
if you're new coming into the stream, please like the stream. Also subscribe. I'm at 438. Hey, at least let's push for 450. S702 says Jim's downfall will be his loyalty to his staff, and that doesn't develop, and Don Brown is terrible. You know what? I can't disagree with that.
I've heard that. I've heard
he's fiercely loyal to his staff and to his players. And is Don terrible? I don't know, Alex. You're on the outside looking in. Do you think Don Brown is our defensive coordinator? Do you think he's terrible? I've certainly criticized him on this channel, but I don't want to sound like a broken record.
So I'm going to say this, and I'll be completely honest with everybody who's watching and yourself. Yep. I started watching Michigan football very closely the past 2 years.
Okay.
And prior to that, I only know what Ohio State did against them, and Ohio State's the outlier because you're talking about, top 3 program in the country every year for the past, I don't know how many years, but I started paying a close attention during the revenge tour when they said that when they had the number 1 defense and we dropped, I think 63 on them. That's when I started paying attention. And then the following year, I think we got the linebacker coach and the other guy who's
Madison and
Madison.
That's scary, the fact that those two left our program and went to our rival. That is scary.
So I'm going to steal something from Bomani Jones. If you go from Ohio State to Michigan and Michigan's terrible and Ohio State's great, that's what you would call hustling backwards. But if you're going from Michigan to Ohio State, football is king in the university. You're going to have the best of everything, the best recruits. And I mean, you guys, so I don't think Don Brown's terrible because they had Michigan's put out some really, really good defensive players over the years. Right.
You know what? They've put them out, but how much have we got out of them when they were here? Let me look up Rashawn Gary's measurables right now. Just
it's going to hurt your feelings. Don't do it.
Let's see. No. This is transparency, man.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. You want to know why it's going to hurt? Because Rashawn Gary should have been, I don't know, Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa or Chase Young.
Okay. And Abdul Gaines, he might have left, but he was very, very critical of Rashawn Gary after the revenge tour game against you guys.
Oh, because
let's look at this.
I think he faked an injury to get out the game.
He might have. Well, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of our guys, their will. You can see it. Their will got broken in that game.
Yeah, I've watched that game a bunch of times, and I feel like after who was the linebacker?
Was it Devin Bush?
Yeah, after Devin
Bush he was diving out of bounds, and
after Devin Bush got hurt, it was over. It was over.
Yep.
I feel like everybody just gave up.
Winovich got hurt.
Yeah,
Rashawn, I guess he came in with a bum shoulder.
Yeah.
But Rashawn, 6'5", 277 pounds. I mean, I don't know if he weighed that when he was with us, but with his height and his measurables, he was the number one high school player in the country. I mean, certainly we should have gotten more out of that kid than we got out of that kid.
Yeah. I thought he was the beginning of a trend that never came. Because I remember when he picked Michigan, I was like, oh man, it's about to be on. Like, we're really gonna have to play these guys. Like, it's, we're gonna have to show up and play these guys. And it just didn't happen. So like I said, those are the only things that I saw was, when they played Ohio State. I would watch like Michigan's game, like the game before, to kind of look at what they were doing and try to get mentally ready for that game, and kind of have a good bar of where we were versus where they were. And like I said the other day, in the past 6-7 years, I haven't been really worried when we go into that game. I've made probably $4 or $5 grand off of that game over the past 6 or 7 years. So,
as 702 says, people keep talking about Eric Bieniemy as the next head coach. How about talking to him? I don't know that much about Eric. I know he was in the pros.
I think he's going to be the next coach at I know they're talking about him maybe to the Texans.
Okay, so he's going to stay in the NFL.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay in the NFL. But Eric, he's the coach at Kansas City, if I believe.
Yep, he's on Andy Reid's staff.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about him, but I'm pretty sure he's going to stay in the NFL.
Okay, I think this is in reference to Indiana's coach. Tom is Indiana's coach. How do you guys not know this? Hey man, we have day jobs. I can't keep up with every Big Ten coach. He hasn't beaten Ohio State himself. So, Andy Case, we were 5-7 when Harbaugh took over. Hoke was a hot mess. Okay, well, Jim is performing arguably just above where Brady was.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's taken that next step, but if this is the product going forward, we're now talking regression. We're talking regression at this point. If this is the way they're trending, in what world would you ever think that Michigan is not going to be favored playing Maryland? In what world?
Oh boy. I haven't looked at Tua's brother yet, but since you mentioned him, I need to take a look before. So I'm not looking at him on game day for the first time.
No, it'll hurt your feelings. It'll hurt your feelings.
Maybe I'll do a video just on Tua's brother.
So yeah, and you need to understand something. So like, I don't know how this happened, but he was at Alabama. I think he was there for a year and then left, and now he's playing for Maryland. He left because I forget why he left, but he ended up transferring out, and he was a highly rated quarterback also coming out of high school. So, I mean, it's not just he's to his brother. Like, the kid can play, obviously. I mean, it's got Maryland beating freaking Penn State, like, and Minnesota. The kid can play.
Yeah, Maryland hasn't been one of the players since they joined the Big Ten.
No, but I think that's changing. I definitely think that's changing.
Well, if he's as good as you say he is, then he could be.
I mean, and you're there,
up.
so you can go check out a game if you want.
Yeah, they might be letting a few people in.
Yeah,
into their little stadium.
Yeah.
Some new folks have come in. Please like the stream if you haven't. Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Just left the StreamYard link in the chat if anyone wants to come in and talk with us. I also left my Cash App if anyone wants to make a donation right there in the stream. Rick says, why would a coach leave a small school when they are winning? Resources and brand. Michigan is a national brand, win or lose.
You keep bringing this topic up, and I keep going back to, if you're happy, your family's happy, you're comfortable, you're in a good situation, why leave? Why? Brand means not like that's a like it's almost like you're like if you were a recruiter, you'd be doing a horrible job right now, because if you know that I'm from Ohio and I hate Michigan, don't pitch Michigan's brand knowing that I hate Michigan. It's a terrible sell.
Yeah. S702 says Ryan Day used to be in the NFL. Is that right?
Yeah, he was on Chip Kelly's staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he obviously can sell that when he's recruiting guys. Hey, I've been in the NFL. I can put guys in the NFL. Okay. It makes sense.
I mean, he's already done it. So
one of Rashawn Gary's biggest fans here, Abdul Gaines. Rashawn Gary is like the third pass rusher for Green Bay right now. Gary is an underachiever. He's the biggest underachiever I've seen in my lifetime watching Michigan football. I remember when that was going on, he hurt his shoulder. I remember his mom came out and kind of fought the Michigan fan base over him, because I think more fans were like, hey, why aren't we getting more out of this kid? I remember his mom coming out and fighting for him, which was kind of funny, but maybe telling as well.
Parents will always protect their kids, especially fan bases, so that's completely understandable. I just know he did nothing at Michigan and was still a first-round pick. So,
well, look at the size of him. I mean, he was.
Yeah, no. I mean, on talent alone, he was still a first-round pick. So, I mean, that says enough about his potential. But he just might be one of those kids who just never lives up to their potential. I mean, that happens all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully he'll get a college degree from a top 5 institution, and after his NFL career is over, he could be able to carry that on to other things.
You know what's interesting is that Don Brown, the Revenge Tour season, Don Brown was the defensive coordinator, but Madison was the defensive line coach. So that means Rashawn was right under Madison, right? That was Madison coaching Rashawn. So I don't know. Maybe he wasn't that tough a kid. Maybe, I don't know.
Every time I hear the Revenge Tour, it just makes me
happy. They broke our hearts, man. Trevor Coles is in for the first time. Harbaugh is starting to moonwalk. Facts. I don't know. Well, maybe, but I was in my. Yeah, I think in yesterday's live stream, I did point out that Jim, he looks aged. He looks older. He looks like he looks aged.
I mean, you typically do when you're in that situation. Let me answer S702's question. I'm going to throw out some names for you, and I want you to tell me what they have in common. Ready? Bob Stoops, Urban Meyer, Nick Saban. No, I'm going to take Nick Saban's name off the list. Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, Tom Izzo, Mike D'Antoni, or Mike D'Antoni. I forget the Michigan State's old coach.
Okay.
What do all those guys have in common?
Well, I was thinking they'd all won national titles until you mentioned Mark D'Antonio. So at this point, is it longevity? What is it?
They were all lifelong college coaches and never coached in the pros.
Okay.
When you are in a situation that benefits you and your family and you're happy, sometimes that's what's most important. Like what's most important to me might not necessarily be what's most important to you. Right? So and when you can't, a good situation in your career, and I think in your career, a good situation is there's no amount of money that can comp that. I'm sure you know that. I mean, people, when you're at that level, I mean, like it's you're talking about, legacy at that point. And it's not always about, you can chase things besides chasing the NFL or chasing the NBA. Like there's other ways to chase things. It's not always about doing everything at the highest level. Because those people that I just named have done that over a career, and their legacy it's stapled in history. It's never going to go away. And when we talk about those people, nobody ever talks about the fact that they never went to the NFL. They only talk about the success that they had where they were at.
Okay. I'm gonna read over these last two comments. I'll flash the schedule one more time, and then we'll shut it down.
Don't flash the
schedule. Well, I mean, it's an appropriate way to end the stream. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I just want to give you guys some hope. Like, no, flash the schedule because you're not playing next week. So, like, that means you probably get an extra week of practice to get better.
Abdul says you're exactly right about Rashawn Gary. Abdul Gaines says those men won national titles, best coaches in the history of their institutions, arguable in Stoops' case, and would never feel a need to coach in the pros when already they have great coaching reps.
Right. And that's my point. Like, so if you can get into a situation that benefits you in that way, and that's what you want, then why would you turn around and leave to go to the pros just to be able to coach on the highest level? That's a good one. Because Brent Venable, that's the guy I was telling you a couple of weeks ago. He was the guy who had Oklahoma having first round defensive picks. Like, he had Oklahoma's defense playing in incredible football. And then Bob Stoops messed around and brought in his son or his brother, which was dumb. And then he left to go to Clemson, and now Clemson's a defensive juggernaut. Like, he's the reason that they had 4 picks in the first 2 rounds on the freaking defensive line. Like, yeah, Brett Venables he's an awesome coach. If y'all get him, we in trouble.
Okay.
I'll say that. We are in trouble. Not right now. Maybe by the time I'm 50, because I'm 40 right now, but we'll be in trouble in the next 10 years, definitely.
Okay.
We'd be in trouble.
I'm gonna throw up the schedule here, and we'll take it out on.
I don't think he would do that though, because he might be in a really good situation at Clemson. He's like the top assistant in the country. I think he gets paid more than every assistant in the country. So he might be in a situation where he's like, why would I want to do that if I'm winning national championships and I just get to do what I love? Like Larry Johnson, right? Like Larry Johnson, he's a defensive line coach. He's probably the top defensive line coach in the country, or he is. He's in a great situation. Like, why would I want to leave and go be a head coach somewhere and have added stress when I'm making great money and doing what I love and my family's happy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Penn State.
So I clearly got this wrong in my pre-record from about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Michigan is now 1-2. We beat Minnesota, lost to Michigan State, lost to Indiana. According to what Alex says, Wisconsin, their entire season is pretty much a wash at this point due to COVID. So that means up next we have we're going out to New Jersey to play Rutgers. Penn State's coming to the Big House. Maryland is coming to the Big House, and then we go down to the shoe. So that's what's left. Well, we know at least this one going down to the shoe. That's probably going to be an L. The other ones, Rutgers, based upon what we saw the last 2 weeks, a maybe. Penn State, a maybe. Maryland, a strong maybe. But based upon what Alex has said about Tua's brother, I don't know. So that's what's remaining. Today we lost to Indiana 38-21. They have a lot of work to do in the time they have left. Alex, do you have you're very knowledgeable, bro. Do you have a channel yourself?
No, man. I'm just here. I'm just here to talk with you.
Okay, hey, man, I appreciate you. All right, I appreciate you coming over. You add a lot of value to this.
I got a hot take.
Go for it.
Okay, here's my hot take. So Michigan has next week off because Wisconsin can't play, and I feel really bad for those guys out in Madison. Great coaching staff. I mean, just great people. I've been out there for 2 games. Got treated really well. Great fan base. They play really hard. Tough kids. Just it's 2020. I feel really bad for Wisconsin. But with that being said, I think that you guys are 1-2 right now, right? And this is going to sound bad, but I want you to hear me out fully.
Go for it.
Okay. So you're not going to play next week because Wisconsin's issues with COVID. I'm sure everybody who pays attention to Big Ten football probably already knows that. I don't think they play for 2 or 3 weeks now. You're going to go to New Jersey, play Rutgers, probably squeak out a win. Let's call it 24-21. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the process, you'll be 500. The entire team gets COVID. Nobody dies, but the entire team gets COVID. So the entire team is out for 3 weeks. And as opposed to ending the season, probably 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
You'll end the season at 2-2 with a 500 record. Because the entire team got COVID, Joe Milton gets an extra year eligibility. So he has another 2 years under him, or he have another 2 years of eligibility going into next season.
Oh, so you predict our team will get COVID going down to Rutgers?
I feel like that's the best option for you.
Okay.
To get better.
Okay.
So, because the thing is, like, I'm 99% sure. I don't think you guys are going to beat Penn State. I don't think you guys are going to beat Maryland. You're obviously not beating anybody in Columbus. That be the Crew, the Blue Jackets. You're not beating anybody in Columbus. It's just not happening. So best case scenario, kind of like Wisconsin, where like maybe you just have the season as a wash. Everybody gets a free year eligibility and just prepare for next year. Because I say that thinking that Joe Milton will have some reps under his belt. So he'll be able to start off better next year. He'll have half a season or he'll have like 4 or 5 games under his belt. So I'm thinking that you got a little bit of taste of game action, go back in the off season, work on your game. You still get the free year eligibility, so you still have 2 years left. Come back and get better.
Okay.
And that doesn't allow the other players to hurt their draft stock either, because you have some receivers that probably will go in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. You have some really good receivers on your team, and I would hate for their draft stock to be hurt because you're going through the growing pains of having a quarterback that's kind of learning how to play the position.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a win-win for everybody. It sounds bad, right? When I say it, it sounds bad, but I'm thinking of, you're not going to win this year. We both know that. You guys have 2 losses. You're not going to be ranked. You're not winning this year. So let's just wash it out and start over next year. It's 2020. Cough it up to 2020. Fine. Start over next year. Maybe Harbaugh keeps his job. Because I'm pretty sure, I don't think it really, if you guys finish out the season and you win Rutgers and you lose to Penn State, you lose to Maryland, and you lose to Ohio State, Jim Harbaugh won't be back next year. When I put it like that, I hope you see where I'm going. He won't be back next year.
All right. Rick says, coaching is what have you done lately? They fired Woody because he lost to Michigan 3 times in a row. For the record, Woody punched someone every time they lost a game.
I'm not sure what to do with anything.
Abdul Gaines says, the Crew and the Blue Jackets. I have a Blue Jackets jersey, by the way. I'm going to take us out here with my latest favorite Jimmy picture. Oh, Jimmy. We feel the pain. Maybe you and Don can figure something out. Of course, maybe not. Of course, maybe Alex's prognosis is maybe the best thing for us.
Again, I'm thinking long term.
Oh, Jimmy. Alex, thank you for coming along for the ride again. You had a lot of value here. Everyone, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on the playback, please like this video /stream. Please share it. Please subscribe to the channel. Help get me to 500. Go Blue. My Cash App and all that's below if you want to make a donation, $1, $5, whatever you want. If you want anything, I'll do it again. This is hard. Go Blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care. I'll talk to you the next time. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. And I'll talk to you the next time. All right.
See you in December.
All right, Alex. Peace out.